Students, I'm Ravi Verma and in this video I'm going to start discussion of NCERT solutions for chapter number 1, that is matter in our surroundings, for class 9th science. So dear students, all the NCERT solutions will be discussed in two different parts. In the first part we will start with the in-text questions which are given in between the texts of your NCERT science book. These questions are generally printed in blue color in your NCERT textbook. The exercise questions will be discussed in part 2 of the video. So let us start with the first in-text question from your NCERT book. This question is, which of the following is matter? Dear students, we have selected these names. These objects is matter out of these names, because these all things like chair, air, almond and cold drink, these all objects have mass and occupy space. So anything that has mass and occupies space is a matter. This is why these things are included in matter. But the remaining ones like love, smell, hate, thought, cold and smell of perfume, these all things are not matters because they don't have any mass and they don't occupy space. These are just feelings or sensations. Next, if we talk about smell of perfume, so if we are talking about the sensation of smell, then the sensation is a non-matter. But if we talk about the material of perfume because of which we have sensation of smell, we sense the smell, that material of perfume, is a matter. Okay, now come to the second question. Give reason for the following observation. The smell of hot sizzling food reaches you several meters away, but to get the smell of cold food you have to go close. So why does this happen, that you can have the smell of a hot food while you are sitting away from it? Okay, let's discuss. The reason is the faster rate of diffusion of the particles of aroma materials. Okay, what happened? Suppose this is the food material, suppose this is the burger or anything, any type of food which is very hot, right? So when it is hot, then some oils and some spices, there are some materials, there are some substances which are responsible for its aroma, right? So these materials are hot in a hot food, and when they are hot, then the particles of these materials have high kinetic energy and they spread and diffuse into the air at a faster rate and spread to longer distances. So why is this happening? The smell is reaching far distances because the particles of aroma materials have a higher rate of diffusion on a higher temperature, right? So because the food is at higher temperature, the aroma materials are in higher temperature, and that's why they are diffusing into the air at a higher speed and moving to far distances. So this is why you get the smell of hot food at a longer distance. But with the cold food this is not the case. With the cold food the aroma materials diffuse very slowly, and that's why they do not diffuse or spread to longer distances. Okay, next question. A diver is able to cut through water in a swimming pool. Which property of matter does this observation show? Okay, so we can cut through water. Why? Because this indicates actually that water particles have spaces between them, and the forces of attraction between the particles of water are not very strong, means they are weak, and this is why we are able to cut through water. So this phenomena shows that a matter has space between the particles and the particles are attracting each other. Okay, now what are the characteristics of particles of matter? We know that every matter is made up of particles, and they have space between them. The particles are continuously moving, particles attract each other, and the particles are very tiny. Okay, next, the mass per unit volume of a substance is called density. Okay, so how much kg or grams of mass is present in one unit volume, that may be ml or liter, right? So this ratio of mass upon volume is called density, right? Is called density. So density of any material shows the heaviness of the material or heaviness of the substance, and shows how strongly the particles of the matter are bonded together. Okay, so the things which are very dense, which are heavier, they have higher density. So what is the order of density in exhaust from chimney, air, honey, water, chalk, cotton, and iron? So if we talk about increasing order of density, we will find that iron has the maximum density and air has the least density. So what is the sequence? Air, exhaust from chimney, cotton, water, honey, chalk, and then iron. So iron having maximum density and air having minimum density. Next, question number 6. Tabulate the differences in the characteristics of the three states of matter. And the second part of the question is comment on the following: rigidity, compressibility, fluidity, filling of a gas container, shape, kinetic energy, and density. Okay, so let's discuss about them. First of all, differences between the three states of matter. So we have taken these characteristics: shape, volume, rigidity or fluidity, intermolecular force, intermolecular or intermolecular space, compressibility. Okay, so let's discuss. First of all, we know that solids have fixed shape, but liquids and gases don't have any fixed shape. Next, volume. Liquids, solids and liquids both have fixed volume, but gases have no fixed volume. They can occupy any amount of volume. Next, rigidity or fluidity. Look, solids are rigid and they cannot flow, but liquids can flow and they are not rigid. In the same way, gases also can flow and they are not rigid. Now, another characteristic, intermolecular force, or we can say the force between the particles, not force between the particles of matter. If we talk about solid, then the force between the particles is maximum, means they are very tightly packed. But in liquids, it is intermediate, that is less than solids. And in gases, the force between the particles is minimum. In the same way, space is minimum in solids, intermediate in liquid, and maximum in gases. Next, and the last is compressibility. We know that solids are negligible. Incompressibility means they are almost non-compressible. In the same way, liquids are also very non-compressible, or they have very little compressibility, but gases are highly compressible. Means what is the compressibility? Compressibility means we can decrease the volume of gases by applying pressure on them. This property is called compressibility, because we can, when we apply pressure on gases, the particles of gases come close to each other and the gases convert into liquids. Okay, next, the second part is a few terms you need to understand. What is rigidity? First of all, rigidity. So rigidity is the tendency of a substance to maintain its shape when subject to external force. So if we take a solid and we apply force, its shape does not change immediately. This is called rigidity of solids. Next, compressibility. We have discussed the property of matter due to which its volume can be reduced on applying pressure, thus increasing its density. This is called compressibility. You know, gases are have maximum compressibility. Next is fluidity. The ability of a substance to flow is called fluidity. You know that gases and liquids can flow, so they are fluid. Next, filling the container, gas container. So when a container is filled up by a gas, we know that particles of gas move freely here and there, everywhere, right? So they reach every corner of the container, and in this way they occupy whole the space, whole the volume of the container. So what we can say, that when a gas is filled in a container, it occupies whole the volume of the container and takes the shape of the container. Okay, so this is written here: the gas particles are moving freely, they move freely in all directions and reach every part of the container and fill whole volume of the container. Now let's talk about shapes. The shapes: solids have definite shape, whereas liquids and gases take the shape of the container. Next is, what is kinetic energy? This is a question. You need to understand, this is very important. What is kinetic energy? So dear students, when something is moving, it has capacity to do some work, so it has some energy, we can say. So this energy is because of its motion. For example, suppose here there is a paper sheet and you take an iron ball or any cricket ball, and when you will throw it on the paper sheet, you will see that the paper, there you will find a hole, means it will torn the paper, right? Or if some car is moving, okay, car is moving and it hits a bicycle, right? It hits a bicycle, then you will see that the bicycle starts moving, means it is thrown away by the head of the car. So everything which is moving, it has a sort of energy which is called kinetic energy. So what we can say, what is kinetic energy? Kinetic energy is defined as the energy possessed by an object by the virtue of its motion, means the energy in any object which is because of its motion, then it is called kinetic energy. But when something is static, then it has zero kinetic energy. If something is not in motion, then it has zero kinetic energy. So particles of gases have highest kinetic energy because they are moving at a highest speed freely, followed by liquids, and the solids have least kinetic energy because the particles of solids are static, they are fixed on their location, they are just moving here and there, means they are just vibrating here and there, but they are not changing their position. Now what is density? We have discussed that mass upon volume is called density, means the amount of mass present in unit volume of a substance is called density, and it is a measure of the heaviness of the substance or the strength of the intermolecular or interparticular force of attraction. Next, give reasons. A gas fills completely the vessel in which it is kept. We have already discussed this question earlier, that the particles are moving freely in all directions because of high kinetic energy, and they cover entire volume of the container. Next, a gas exerts pressure on the walls of container. Again, because of high kinetic energy, the gas molecules or gas particles hit the containers and they exert a force on the walls of the container, and because of this force there is a pressure created on the walls of container, right? So this is why a gas exerts a pressure on the walls of container, right? So we can understand it like this also. Suppose this is the container and the gas is filled, so gas particles are moving here and there, they are striking the walls of the container, so they are applying a force, they are applying a pressure on the walls of the container. Next, a wooden table should be called a solid. Why? Because a wooden table has a fixed shape and volume. Why? Because its particles are closely packed with minimum spaces between them, and the wooden table cannot be compressed and it does not flow. So all the conditions which are required to be considered as solid are fulfilled. That's why the wooden table is called, the wooden table is said to be a solid. Next question. We can easily move our hand in air, but to do so through a solid block of wood, we need a karate expert. What is the reason? The reason is that we know that in water, forces of attraction between the particles of water are very weak, very small or very weak, and hence we can separate them easily by external force. But in a wooden block, the particles are highly dense, means they are very closely packed to each other. They have strong forces of attraction. So to break it, we need stronger force. Okay, so this is why to break a wooden block, we need we need a higher amount of force to break it. Okay, so this is why it is hard to break a wooden block. Next, liquids generally have lower density than solids. Obviously, you know that the particles of liquid are very away, far away from each other, and they are moving freely, but the particles of solids are very close to each other. So density of liquids is less as compared to the density of solids. So whenever a liquid freezes and converts into solid, its density increases, right? But this is not the case. You must have observed that ice floats on water. Find out why. Okay, so the question is that liquids generally have lower density than solids, but we have seen that ice, which is a solid form of water, floats on water. Why does this happen? So dear student, this happens because when water is in liquid state, its particles are randomly clustered, means they are randomly arranged, and they are a little bit more closer to each other. But when it freezes, then the particles make a cage like arrangement with many hollow space between them. Okay, so you might have observed in a cube of ice you can see some holes, right? So hence ice has a lower density than water because it has a small mass to volume ratio than water. This is why ice floats on water. So dear students, now you got that when water is in liquid state, its particles are more close to each other, but because they are randomly arranged. Okay, for example, in inside a class, if you are not sitting in rows in a proper order, then you may be clustered in a very small space, half of the class only. But because you are sitting on your seats in a proper order, right? So this is why you are occupying more space, means you are not dense at that time. Okay, so this is what happens, that in water when it freezes, the particles get arranged in a particular cage like structure, and they have a space between them. That's why the density of ice is less than water. So this is why we know that something which is less dense floats on something, on the material which has more density, right? So ice which has less density and water which has more density. Okay, so because ice has less density as compared to water, this is why it floats on the surface of water. Now convert the following temperatures to Celsius scale. Okay, so we have been given with the temperature in Kelvin scale, like 300 Kelvin, 573 Kelvin. How we can convert? We know that 0 degree centigrade means 273 Kelvin. That means we can find the temperature from this formula. Temperature in centigrade or Celsius scale is equal to temperature in Kelvin scale minus 273. So let's find out. We will put how to find out temperature in Celsius scale is equal to temperature in Kelvin scale. So this is the temperature, 300 Kelvin. So we will put 300 and minus 273. So the answer will be 27 degrees Celsius. In the same way, question B also, we have 573 Kelvin, that is equal to 573 minus 273 degrees Celsius, so equal to 300 degree Celsius. Now, what is the physical state of water at 253 and 100 degrees Celsius? So dear students, you know that 253 is much more than its boiling point, water's boiling point. You know that water's boiling point is 100 degree Celsius. So this temperature is higher than 100 degree Celsius. 250 is higher than 100 degree Celsius. That means at this temperature, when the water will reach this temperature, that means the water has already boiled and converted into steam. So this is why the water will be in its gaseous or vapor state at 253 degree centigrade. Okay, now at 100 degree, what will be the state of water at 100 degrees Celsius? You know 100 degrees Celsius is the boiling point. That means that it should be undergoing the process of boiling, and hence it should be in both states, the liquid and the gaseous state. Okay, so at 253 the water will be in gaseous state, but at 100 degrees centigrade it will be in both liquid and gaseous state. Okay, so dear students, this is all in this video. Already the video has been long, around 22 minutes. So the remaining questions will be discussed in the part 2. Thank you for watching this video. You can take the screenshots or you can pause the video in order to write the question answers.